Hey everyone, Catch 'em All Collectibles here. In today's video, we're going to talk more about live streaming. Last week, if you missed it, I laid down the foundation. I talked about my first 90 days selling on Fanatics Live, and there was a lot more left unsaid. 30 minutes of video, there was a lot left unsaid, so I'm going to get into some more topics here. 90-day live update plus 2025 plans continued. So monthly breakdown. I alluded to it in my last video that things had changed a lot. It's only been 90 days. It's only been 3 months. We're on month 4 right now. October we started. There's been a huge shift, which I like. I prefer, actually. There's been a huge shift from auctions to pack rips. So I said it. I had a feeling for it. Here's the data to back it up. In October, 68% by gross market value. Gross market value being the total dollars sold, basically. 68% of our GMV was auctions, and only 32% was pack rips. And then if you go by count, so I did it 2 ways. I did it by number of transactions, the number of auctions versus number of pack. And it's not number of packs, it's number of pack lots. So sometimes that's 4 packs, 9 packs, 36 packs. So that's just the way that I did it. Almost the same. 2/3, 1/3 in October. Auction averages were $27 then. I remember that kickoff stream, we auctioned an Evolving Skies box. We auctioned some high-end stuff. That was likely, especially because it was a shorter month, that first kickoff auction likely had a drastic effect on the auction average price. November, 43%, so a drastic decline in what were auctions. And the way that we run it, PK Ponga, they go live. They have packs in the buy it now at launch of the live stream always. And they start with some auctions, get people coming in, get people filtering in. They build a little bit of a pack backlog, and they start ripping packs. And sometimes they do 50 auctions before they get big enough pack backlog to switch over to the pack rips. Sometimes it's 5. I really like when it's just they go live 5, 6, 7 hours and they're pack ripping the whole time. I talked about it a little bit in the last video. I'll talk about it more here. Packs are nice. I buy them at a fixed percentage from the open market, 70 to 85%, depending on how bad I need it. Depending on my inventory levels. I'll talk about that more on a future slide. But and then I sell for X% of market plus add in what the platform fees are. Like I can calculate all that out. When you run an auction, when you take a slab, when you take a single and you throw it up for auction, dollar auction, RCS take the wheel, you don't know what that's gonna do. You might pay 75% of market on slabs, you might pay 70% of market on singles, you might sell it for 40%. You also might, to be fair to the other side, you might sell it for 300% of market. There are certainly $3 promos we sold for 10, but there are also $100 slabs that we sold for 30 or 50. So the thing that I don't like about the auctions is the variance. And what I really loved about the past few months is that in November, we went down from 68% auctions by GMV and 67% by quantity. We went down to 43%, less than half of what we did in November by GMV was auctions, and 57% were packs. So by sheer quantity, we must have been doing like lower quality auctions overall. So by quantity, the numbers were fairly different. 43% by GMV, 62% by like quantity. So the packs would have been naturally Surging Sparks 9-pack lots were selling for fairly expensive relative to what a normal set release at out of the gate. So November was big as far as like dollars of GMV for packs, but it was a little bit lower on the transaction. Probably a lot of like 36-pack lots. In the future, maybe I'll look at this from a number of packs perspective, as opposed to like a number of lots of packs. December, it went down even further, which again I love to see. 24% of our total GMV was auctions, $1 auctions, slabs, singles. Occasionally they do sealed too. Occasionally they'll do an art set of a set that's not selling that well. Occasionally they might auction a Japanese 151 booster box, or maybe a 36-pack lot of Crown Zenith packs to just get the ball rolling on some rips, get some items through there. That's all at their own discretion. I do not have W-2 employees. I have 1099 independent contractors / business to business, like almost like a consignment relationship. I send them a bunch of stuff and they dictate how and when it's ran. They dictate the pricing for the buy it nows. Well, they set the pricing based off a spreadsheet that I share with them that basically just does the math on like, this is what TCG Player has it at. This is what added in a little bit for the platform fees and the streamer pay. But yeah, December went down to 24% auctions, 76% packs by GMV, and about 50-50. About 50-50 by quantity. So month over month over month, those things have been shifting more towards packs, as I said in the last video. This is just the actual data to prove that I was not like dreaming it. I was actually correct. And then a sneak peek on January. I will detail this. I don't know if I'll break down. Let me know in the comments below. Should I do this as a quarterly live stream recap? Should I do it twice in a year? Should I do it in July or like January through June? Or should I just do like, hey, Dan, just give us a full year. Like 2024, the first quarter of it, the first 90 days made sense, but we'd rather get a whole year worth of data. Tell us if you did 100,000 packs, 200,000 packs all at once. Let me know if you want quarterly, semi-annually, or annually on the live streaming updates in the future, and I will oblige likely to whatever the most popular request is. One thing I wanted to talk about here, common question on my live streams is like, how do you determine how much of everything to have? And I say it all the time. A lot of it is by vibes. A lot of it is by vibes, but to be like true and honest to myself, like my vibes have been honed over the past decade. I've had distribution for a decade. I know that sets historically stay in print for about 2 years. Sometimes it's closer to 5 with evolution. Sometimes it's closer to 6 months with some of the short printed sets that we've had in our history. But by vibes, I have a feel. It's not going to be 100% accurate ever. No one can be. But like Crown Zenith, when I was buying Crown Zenith, market was 5, and I was buying at 70 to 80%. I was buying at $3.50 to $4 a pack. I bought over 10,000 packs because based on vibes, I had multiple things telling me like it's nearing 2 years old. It's getting these final reprint waves. Sea and Sky boxes were everywhere. People were going and they were paying $2 something a pack to get them in the Sea and Sky boxes after the Rakuten, after this and that, the Costco rewards. So it was like a period of lower prices due to higher availability on a set that is, in my opinion, quite likely to not have future reprints. 151, for similar reasons, is a set that I'm going fairly hard on as we speak. In the past 3 days, as I'm recording this on Thursday the 23rd. You're watching this on Monday. So I haven't yet done. I still have it beside me. I haven't yet done this box break, but hopefully, while you're watching this, it's already happened. Hopefully it went well. But I've bought 3,000 to 4,000 packs of 151 in the past 3 days. I put it on my hot buy list on Monday, and definitely check out my website. I have on my website every Monday. Every Monday I update this buy list. As it says, last update was 120 at 3 p.m. I am currently buying slabs for 75%, less than $120 value. PSA 8 plus only. CGC, BGS as well. I need to actually make a slight edit for that. Raw singles, I'm backlogged. I have probably a year's worth of singles for PK and Panga at the rate that they're selling them. So I'm not really currently buying any. If you have singles and slabs and sealed and you want to sell all in one go, absolutely feel free to reach out. I can take the singles too, but I'm not buying like only singles lots. ETB booster box cases at 75%. And always reach out to me first. DM me, email me, get a hold of me and verify what you're shipping before you actually ship it. But this lives on my website. It will be linked in my link tree below. It has all the packs, all the prices that I'm paying. And I know it's cropped a little bit poorly, but hot buy lists are something I'm going to do likely every Monday moving ahead. So if you go on my website, my offer for 151 was actually a little bit lower than this. My offer for all of these was a little bit lower. These sets, I need more. Either a combination of I'm running low on them, or my vibes are telling me like, hey, 151 is, I have a lot of it, but it's a great set. It's coming up on 2 years later this year. And these blooming water collections are coming out in droves. It's probably going to be at a short-term low, short-term high availability, lower price due to those boxes coming out. Like, let me put out a buy list. Let me try to secure 3 months, 6 months, maybe 12 months worth of 151. It's a set I never, ever, if I live stream for the next 20 years, I want to have 151 in stock all 20 years. I think it's that kind of a set. Hindsight, maybe I look back, maybe Dan was being really silly just because it has all of Kanto in it. Dan, you didn't need to get so crazy about it. I used to say the same thing about Hidden Fates. Hidden Fates is something that it's a fair bit more expensive. It's 20 something bucks a pack we stream it for, but it sells all the time. It is years later one of our best sellers. We try to have it in the buy it now. We try to have it available every time. I've been bad. I haven't been able to keep up with it. Hidden Fates will probably be on my next hot buy list. Just a little insider info. But what I'm doing with the hot buy list is I'm stocking up on sets that I either need or want for whatever, either vibes, or I'm just low on inventory. It could be as simple as me just being out of inventory. Most of these, though, it's a combination of both. It's a combination of vibes. Like we might not be getting significantly more of it. It's highly available right now, lower price right now than I think it will be in a few months. And I'm always going to be at 80% plus, 80 to 85% generally on the hot buys every Monday that I post. So the website will be updated and the hot buys will be updated on every Monday moving ahead. If for whatever reason I miss it, part of the reason I put the time and the date, like it might be an old stale one. You'll know if it was updated that Monday or not. Usually I do it in the afternoon. So if you go on Monday morning, you won't see it updated. It will be the prior week. But yeah, just wanted to cover that. Feel free to reach out. Always feel free to reach out if you want to consign. Always feel free to reach out if you want to sell to me. I'm going to be selling over 100,000 packs in 2025. I need packs. I need singles. I need slabs. I need all of it. But yeah, so much of it is by vibes. So much of it is by vibes. It's kind of crazy, but the vibes have been refined and tuned in and reformed over the years. That's all you can do. You can look at everything you see. You can take into account all the YouTubers' opinions you hear. You can talk to distributors. You can talk to people who have distributors, and you can get a gut feeling. You're never going to time all the tops. You're never going to time all the bottoms. You're just going to do the best you can do with the information you have as of today. So that's where I'm at. How deep do I like to stock sets? So my number one thing when I am stocking and tracking the inventory of Pong and PK, I've told them this. I want them to be able to, if I just went like no contact, if I just disappeared, I want them to be able to run for a month at least. I want them to be able to have the hype sets, the big sets I showed you last month. Whatever the newest set is always a hype set. It's always going to be ripped in high quantity. So as of right now, the probably 5 most hype sets we have: 151, Crown Zenith, Prismatic, Surging Sparks, and Twilight Masquerade. PK had a little bit of a stretch where he ripped a crazy amount the last couple of weeks. But those are probably like 5 of our most hype sets right now. And I want them to have a minimum a month of all that. But I want them to have a wide, if someone comes in and they want any set, I'm trying to keep in stock every set from Sword, Shield, not necessarily the first 3 or 4, right? You had Sword, Shield Base, Rebel Clash, Darkness Ablaze, Vivid Voltage. Those ones aren't quite as hype, but starting at Battle Style, starting at the alt art sets is where I try to have all of them in stock with them all the time. And I look at, and I'll show you a little bit later in this video, I'll show you how I use Google Sheets, Excel, how I use ChatGPT to monitor, like, hey, here are my raw files. Here are my raw files spit out from Fanatics. Whether you have Whatnot, Fanatics, Drip, they all do this. eBay Live. They would all provide to you some kind of CSV download format where you can see every single set. Let me actually show you that while I'm talking about it. So this is it. This is it right here. I did look to verify that there are no customer details here. This is just like transaction time, show start time, show ID, all these different things. And it's like, Dan, it's only been a few weeks of January and you already have a single spreadsheet that is 2,382 rows long. Yes, that is how quickly it piles up. That is how quickly and how large number of transactions they're doing every night on Fanatics. So go tune in if you haven't. $25 join link in affiliate link in the description below if you haven't joined yet. But how do you deal with a spreadsheet that's 2,300? If you want more detail on this, and maybe I'll already be doing it come tax time, how I do my reseller taxes using ChatGPT and pivot tables. But for the benefit, very quickly, I will show you like a little, so you highlight everything and you go to insert. I know it's a little bit off screen, but you go to insert pivot table. And then when you come over to a pivot table, this chunks it down into a lot more digestible format. So what I added for my pivot table metrics were the break name. I want to know what item was sold, when the show starts at. So that gives me segmented each show. I could do it with the show name too, because the show names do vary. Let me actually swap that in. You could put in a show name and get rid of show starts at because the show name is more meaningful. So along the top, it shows the show name. Along the left side, it shows what the item was sold. And that's like, hey, I want to see Pokemon single slab sealed auction. This is actually another way I could have done what I did earlier, showing the breakdown, but I use ChatGPT. Either or both are very powerful. Sometimes one's quicker than the other. But like by stream, I can very quickly see what was my GMV. I know it's tiny for you. What was my GMV by stream though? And how did that break down? And what was the total for January? And you can see right here, the total for January already, 24,000 in auctions, 88,800 in overall. So that's how I did the quick math there on that. If I want to see like, hey, let me throw in a filter. Let me throw in a filter view and I don't care about anything except prismatic. I don't care about anything except prismatic. Let me just type in prismatic, select all titles with prismatic. And it's like, oh, well, the first couple shows, nobody sold any of it. Well, that makes sense because we didn't have it. It didn't come out. 117, the release date. You can see out of the gate, PK sold a ton. And then PK sold a bunch more, Ponga sold more. And yeah, it's just really cool to take a lot of data and turn it into a manageable size that you can play with. Now I gotta straighten this out. Turn it into a manageable size that you can play with. So I have within that spreadsheet, and I guess I didn't show that, but within this spreadsheet, or this one, yeah, within this one, I have this. And what this is, very complex formulas. Let me scroll down a little bit so you can see the formulas. A little bit scary. ChatGPT held my hand throughout this. They helped me make it. It's an array formula that has some if regex max. Like it has all these different things. I've used some of these formulas before, but I was not entirely familiar with how to do it. I asked ChatGPT like, hey, can you help me out here? Here's the file, and I'll show you quickly the ChatGPT logs, how it worked, talking with the robot and having it help me visualize this data, having it help me create formulas that would help me analyze this data better. And yeah, this is year to date as of the other night when I last pulled it, how many packs of each set we sold. And I don't think I can filter this actually right now. What I would have to do to filter this, I would have to go over here and I would have to just paste it as values only. And then I could filter just this. If you filter the array formulas and the regex maxes, it ends up breaking things. But I can sort this Z to A. So this year, we've sold more Crown Zenith than we have Prismatic. Probably not by the time you watch this video. Probably that will have adjusted. But these are the sets. These are the sets that not just my vibes are telling me to buy more of. My customers are telling me to buy more of. I buy it at 70 to 85%. I sell it at 100, 110% of market. To try to net 95 to 100% of market after fees and all that. And like I'm making good margin on these and they're selling. So I need to buy more. I need to keep them in stock. And there's certain sets we haven't sold hardly any of or none of whatsoever. So yeah, these are the things. These are some of the actual data that I use. And then these are some of the vibes that I use to guide me through how I start. Because one of my most common things is like, Dan, how do you know when to buy this? How do you know when to buy that? I don't know, but I have a good idea. I have a good idea based on history. And generally speaking, like Prismatic. Prismatic is, I'm paying $9 a pack right now. I don't like paying $9 a pack. I've been quoted on a live stream saying that, and I truly believe this. I think Prismatic, as Crown Zenith was, as 151 was, I think Prismatic will be available for $5 to $6 a pack. I think Prismatic will be available in the next 6 to 24 months. I don't know when. Nobody knows when. But I believe it will be available in excess. Costco, Walmart, Target, Pokemon Center, wherever. I don't know. I believe it'll be available $5 to $6 a pack, as almost every set ever has been. Evolving Skies was for a long time. 151 was for a long time. All of them. Almost. I don't know if there's ever been a set in history out of the gate. Absolutely. Vivid Voltage, Battle Styles, even some of the like bad sets were unavailable at MSRP out of the gate. But in a 2-year window after release, I don't know if there's a single set that wasn't available for $5 to $6 a pack or less. So patient. But me being a live stream seller, it's Prismatic release. It's hype. It's the newest set. It's the best set of all time. I have to have it. So I try to have like, maybe instead of having like Crown Zenith, I'm fine if I have 2 years worth, because I mean, market could change, things can fluctuate. It could go down. Absolutely. You need to be careful thinking like, oh, it's out of print. It can only ever go up. It could absolutely go down. Cards have gone down over time in times where they're out of print, out of stock entirely. But I feel better about Crown Zenith being more up trend over time. Prismatic, I almost know for certain that I'm going to be paying 50% of what I'm paying today at some point in the future, but I still need, like, I don't want 10,000 packs. If I project that I might rip 2,000 packs a month for the next 3 months. Maybe I want 5 or 6,000 packs. Maybe I want like a few months supply, but I don't want a year supply. I don't want 5 years supply. If and when I get buried under prismatic packs at $9 a pack, I'll lower to 8. I'll lower to 7. I'll lower to 6. I'll take it off my buy list entirely, if and when needed. So that is how I do it as far as stocking them. Well, one thing that I'm doing, I keep kind of like a replenished stock on site with me. A lot of stuff, if you sold to me, you know, maybe you ship to PK directly, maybe you ship to Ponga directly. I do that at times when they're getting a little bit lower. I want them to have a little bit. I'm planning on having a third streamer. I'm planning on having a second live stream selling platform in the future. So I'm built, like I have tens of thousands of packs on hand. I have things that I can refill PK and Ponga with as needed. And I also have, whenever the time comes, whenever streamer number 3 comes, hey, here's 1,000 pounds of Pokemon packs. Maybe I'll actually send them a pallet. It'll depend on who it is, where they are. Maybe I'll drive the minivan to them, figure something out when the time comes to launch them. But and then yeah, setting my buy list prices. If I think it is more likely to go up over time, if I think it's more likely a Crown Zenith situation, 2 months ago I was buying it for $3.50 to $4 a pack in mass, over 10,000 packs. And today I just locked down this morning another 500 packs, but I'm paying $4.80 a pack. I'm paying a lot more. So I'm paying, I think I have my Crown Zenith buy list set at like 75% right now. I was paying 80% when it was low, and now I'm paying 75% as it gets higher. If it gets a lot higher, me having a 10,000 pack backstock of it, I'm probably going to lower to 70% soon. Even though it's amazing set, it's like, I'm pretty set for a while on it. So all these things are constantly in ebbs and flows and adjusting for cash flow, adjusting for inventory flow, like so many moving parts. Used to be an engineer, used to have to do a lot of spreadsheeting, a lot of mass balances. I'm doing the same thing. Instead of doing it with molecules, with atoms, with certain metals, I'm doing it with packs. I'm doing it with prismatic and evolutions and hidden fates and evolve. Like it's fun and interesting for me, at least, to be on the back end of it, kind of pulling all the strings and managing it all and trying to optimize it all and trying to not get destroyed having too much inventory. If I have $100,000 in prismatic over the next 12 months, my average carry balance of it, and it goes down 50%, I just lost $50,000. I can't have zero of it. It would be nice to have zero when it drops 50%, but I'm going to try to do my best to have only $20,000, $30,000 worth when it slowly trickles down for 12-month period to 50% drop. And I could be wrong there. I could be wrong on any individual set, any individual prediction, but my vibes are guided over time. Streamer pay methods. One thing I talked about in last video that someone actually specifically requested in the comments, so I wanted to talk about it. There are pros and cons. I started the first 90 days. I paid PK and Ponga flat per stream hour. I paid them a high number per stream hour. It's not my number to share. It's a number shared between us. So if you want to ask them, you can. I don't think they're sharing, but I will share all my own information. But if it's someone else's information too, I'm not going to share it. But I pay them a high flat hourly to compensate for the fact that they have to ship on their own time. They have to prep the stream on their own time. We came to a mutual agreement. They were very happy with what I paid them. One slight adjustment I've made, I used to buy their supplies and ship supplies to them so that they could be prepared to do all the shipments, and like shipping not on their own behalf. Well, now I've changed it slightly. I don't want to have to buy their supplies anymore. I don't want them to have to text me and say, Dan, I need padded envelopes. Dan, I need this. Dan, I need that. Like, let me just pay you more money to go away. Sorry, PK, and Ponga. But, I mean, actually, you're welcome, though, too, because I found out what the actual cost was. I looked up all the transactions. I estimated how many penny sleeves and how many card savers and how many quad zero envelopes and how many double zero envelopes and how many cardboard inserts we would use per order across our many tens of thousands of orders. And I arrived at something like 40-something cents per order. And I just rounded up to 50. Like, hey, you guys are going to get paid a little bit more money. You're not going to have to interface with me. So every line item they sell, every transaction they have, they get 50 cents additional to what their flat hourly is. I will talk quickly about the pros and cons to each style. Flat hourly, very obvious potential detriment. Like each one of these, if it's a pro for the streamer, it's a con for the seller, right? If it's a pro for me, it's probably a con for them. So every one of these has pros and cons. There's no perfect way to do it. If you're a streamer out there and you hire streamers underneath you, feel free to share if you want to. I mean, don't if you don't want to either. But feel free to share how you do pay structures. I do flat hourly. I do X amount an hour per stream hour, high to compensate for the fact that they're doing work off stream too. And then I do a 50 cents per 50 cents per not per shipment, but like per transaction. And over time, that might adjust. That might become a significantly lower flat hourly, and then throw in a percentage base. But yeah, let me get to why I do what I do and what are the good things about it and what are the bad things about it. So right now, paying flat hourly per stream hour, they run buy it nows. They run certain things that are shipped sealed only. If they sell 20 items via buy it now and they have to ship it the next day, I'm paying by stream hour. So I'm actually getting like free labor from them to do that. It's a conversation we had. They know that there's that oversight. I've allowed them to sell some of their own stuff basically free, or charging like very minimal platform fees. There's benefits and cons that go both ways. But one negative for me, if they wanted to take advantage of it, they could click go live. They could just sit there, hang out, and talk with chat. They could, like, the amount of times I've gone on the Fanatics, Whatnot, Drip, any of these other eBay live selling platforms, and people are just like hanging out, not ripping. Music's going, they're just vibing there, sitting, texting on their phone, whatever. I'm paying a good hourly wage every minute that camera's on, every second that camera's on. So that would be a big con to me if they're just like going really slow and not being efficient. I mean, I want them to put on a good show, and I think they're doing a great job navigating all that. I don't feel like either one of us is taking advantage of the other. I think it's all fair and reasonable. Percentage-wise, if I were to pay them 10% of what they sold, like, they're not going to sell $1 singles to make 10 cents. They're going to sell all the $100 slabs. They're not going to want to list $3 booster packs. So a pro for me, and if it's a con for percentage, it's probably a pro for the other ones. So a con for percentage is every time I send them something expensive, they're going to sell that thing first. Only if they were like bad streamers who would take advantage of the relationship, take advantage of the situation. They're not that, so they wouldn't do this. But like what the risk would be is that someone could abuse it by selling only the expensive stuff, never getting to the cheap stuff. Why am I going to sell a Crown Zenith pack for $5, $6, $7 when I can sell an Evolving Skies pack for $20, a Hidden Fates pack? Like, I'm just going to sell everything expensive. It'll 10% of a bigger number is a bigger number. So there's a big risk there. There's a big issue being solely percentage based. And also, like, on packs, I could see more me getting to where I pay a percentage based on packs, because I know what I'm making percentage wise. I know what I paid. I know what my fees are. I know what I'm paying them. And in the future, there's a decent chance, especially if we explore day streams. If we explore day streams, one interesting dynamic about day streams and night streams is that night streams, primetime slot, you're likely to get more viewers. You're likely to get more buyers. If you run an auction for a $20 slab, generally speaking, and I could be wrong here, but like the logic follows. Generally speaking, auction prices should be higher and stronger during the primetime slots, during the evenings, when more people are on. And that means they should be lower. So it's like, am I going to pay 10% across the board, whether it's 8 a.m. on a Tuesday or whether it's 11 p.m. on a Saturday night and there's 100 people watching versus 20 people watching the other time? There's so many moving parts to this. And that's why I like the flat hourly. I liked it. They can, but one thing I communicated to them to some extent, if for whatever reason they ever wanted to add like day streams, I'm paying them a good number right now. We would probably have to talk about, like, it'll probably be a lower number, especially if you're running auctions. If you're running auctions during the day, it's going to have to be a lower hourly number than I'm paying for the primetime slots right now. Right now, we run 7 nights a week. We run only, like, primarily between 8 p.m. Eastern and 2 a.m. Eastern or so, all 6 hours within that primetime slot. If they start running 10 a.m., 2 p.m. on weekdays, I can't sustain the hourly wage that I'm paying very likely. Except for if they sell the packs for the same amount, well, then I could. If they're only doing pack rips or if the auctions are like reasonable. A lot of things to still toy with and explore in our next 90 days and our next year, 5 years, 10 years. I'm very excited to optimize all this. And then on a per item basis, similarly, instead of running 30-second auctions with extended bidding so that they could kind of like realize the highest price, I mean, we're gonna auction some multi-$100 slabs. We're gonna auction the obligatory check off your bingo square on the gray felt hat. But we're gonna run some high-end auctions that kind of benefit from having 30 seconds extended bidding as opposed to 5-second sudden death. Some of these Whatnot streams, it's crazy. They'll run, and they have the following to do it. They run 5-second sudden death, and they run 10 items a minute for an hour straight, and they sell hundreds of items. Like, if I'm paying them a buck an item, they could just sudden death. It's like, who cares what it ends up getting at the end? They don't need to talk about it. They don't need to talk about the history. So there's pros and cons to each. And I think I demonstrated and talked through, hopefully, why I do what I do, why we go with flat hourly plus a small per item rate on top of it. The per item thing is solely for like, I want you guys to not have to pay for the materials. I don't want you guys to like worry about buying the absolute cheapest stuff. Like, here's the stuff that I always bought. Uniformity between streamer A, streamer B, streamer C. Yeah, a lot there. One thing I wanted to show, pause it if you need to read it. New accounts, if you've not signed up, I did this last week, so I'm not going to do it as in-depth. $45 for free. Just pay shipping. $4.95. You get $45 of other stuff for $4.95. Pause. Use the affiliate link below. Code CATCHEM21st, and then use your $25 credit. If you have PSA, do search your email and get those PSA credits. Use those as well. In closing, we are at 30 minutes, and I am finally closing here. Let me take a little step. Dan, upcoming videos, collectibles. I'm always talking about the videos that are in the works. I always have dozens of videos in the works. If you have any suggestions, any ideas for future videos that you would like to see, leave them in the comments below. I have a running Google Drive sheet that I just write in my ideas, flesh them out, plan them, do a little bit of cliff notes for them, what I'm going to do in it, and then I run with it. So next week's video will be the 2024 sales recap. The following video, I was talking in office hours this week in the Pokenomics Patreon. Link in my link tree below if you want to join that. More access to me and Jake than just our public content. What I sell, where I sell it, and why. My 2024 sales recap will show you breakdown how much I sold with Troll and Toad Evo, how much I sold. I was going through line by line all the different places that I sell these days. My big goal, going back a few videos ago, my big goal for 2025 is no more business to consumer shipments. As I speak right now, I think I counted 11 last time. Let me see if I can do it again. Fanatics, Heritage. I'll talk about the Heritage things more soon because that's coming up like late March. Fanatics, Heritage, eBay Live through Ponga and PK. So I'm going to count that as 2. Guy That One Guy, TCG Player, retrospects on my own eBay. And then I've also got Probstein, Sealed Shiz Consignments, Greeny, the Green Shiz. He's doing consignments if you want to reach out to him about sealed consignments. Tom C, check out my cards. Troll and Toad Evo, that's 10. I think I'm missing another one. But anyways, I will, in my sales recap, I'll touch on briefly all the places and all the revenue that I got in 2024. In the following week, I'll break down why have so many. Like you do your own consignments. Why do you consign with other people? I've talked about it before, but I'll talk about it again. It's changed drastically since the last time I talked about it. It's probably going to change again in the next year. A lot of these things, like I'm coming up on 4 years on YouTube. A lot of the same things get talked about in the new environment, in the new environment that we're in, how things have changed so much. So I think that'll be a fun video. I don't know if these will all necessarily be sequentially, but they'll probably be close. Why I will never open an LGS. I think that's a video that I've teased making for like a year now. And I just keep pushing it back. At some point, relatively soon, I will intend to do that. Using ChatGPT to help your Pokemon business. I showed you a little bit earlier. I don't know if I showed you. Let me very quickly. I'm actually going to extend the video a little bit. Let me very quickly segue you to what I intended to show, but I think I forgot to show. So here's me with ChatGPT hanging out, 2 robots. I said my prompt was like, I want a data visualization calculation from a Google sheet I'll upload. And then the robot's like, hey, yep. Once you upload your sheet, we can talk about it. Upload your sheet, then we'll talk about it. Sometimes I've done an upload and then like before saying any prompt, and it'll just like start running with things that I don't want, things that I don't care about. So I gave it that prompt. A lot of it is like learning how to optimize how you talk to it. It talks about what it sees, and it's like, I want a breakdown by month of the GMV. This is how I did what I did earlier in the start of the presentation. So here's breakdown by month. Here's October, here's November, here's December, here's January. A little bit of January spilled into that one. And then like, I want you to split October, how many were sales of packs versus how many were auctions. And I mentioned in the last week's video how messy our auction titles were. I gave it 3 sample titles. Like, look for these titles and other similar titles like that. If you give it the wrong prompts, you might end up getting the wrong data, but I've been playing around with it more and more, and I've gotten pretty good at it. So here's the split for October, auction versus pack. Like, and all these things could be done manually. But some of them, like this one, it would have been a lot more tedious than to just ask the robot, wait 10 seconds for it to think, and then spit out the answer. So there are times where doing a pivot table and analyzing the data yourself will be quicker. There's times where just asking a robot to do it for you will be quicker. So here's like a couple things that I did in ChatGPT just to show you how quickly, how easily you can find the yeah, this one there was sometimes there's discrepancies, but anyways, if people want to, let me know. If you want me to make a sole video on how I use ChatGPT to help my business, I think it would be one, it would be catchy, it would be good for the algorithms and all that stuff. And two, it's like it's actually providing major utility to me. The amount of hours I've saved, the amount of days worth of labor I've saved in the past few months since I've really been using it more, it is crazy. And one place with respect to taxes, it will be massive. I've always done my own bookkeeping. I've always done it in just Google Sheets. I don't really use TurboTax. I don't use GoDaddy bookkeeping, any of those things. I've always just used Google Sheets. Fairly intensive, fairly manual, collating between different spreadsheets, verifying my bank account matches up with what TCG Player sends out versus what Stolen Toad Evo sends out. Like making sure all those things jive. ChatGPT is going to streamline that so much. I'm excited to make a video about that with respect to taxes. The gray felt hat recap. I've been talking about it for a while. My last BGS and PSA returns are still not headed back to me. BGS did just email me that I have my grades. I'm not a tracker checker, but BGS emailed me that they have my grades, which means probably in a month I'll get it. Usually it's still a few weeks after you get your grades. Well, I didn't get the grades, but it said they're done grading and they're going to like assembly or whatever. PSA, I sent it out early November. They just raised their prices recently, which is pretty big news in the hobby. But I have one order left from all my November orders. For whatever reason, I've got like 4 orders back within the same month that were the same service level, and this early November order is still in research and ID. So I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know when that'll come back. I don't want to make the gray felt hat recap video until every return is back. Probably not until I won't wait until every card is sold. I just want to have at least every grade to show you what the grade distributions were and to at least be able to estimate what John and I will net off of that entire play. And then I teased this one in the live stream recently. I will use ChatGPT again, and I will tell you, if you sell 100,000 packs in 2025, if I sell 100,000 packs in 2025, that's a lot of packs. That's a lot of buyers. Someone's going to be really unlucky. The math behind, did this person get screwed? Did Dan, PK, Pongo weigh the packs, pipe the packs, whatever? Or is when 100,000, when 10,000, 11,000 people individually open 9 packs each, crazy things will happen. Some people will be crazy lucky and open more hollows than you would ever expect. Like, oh man, these must have been weighed to the good side. And then some people will be very, very unlucky. I just want to do some math on like, when you start opening packs at that scale, and maybe I'll even talk about opening 1 million booster boxes. What could well, booster boxes were the packs. Booster boxes have kind of a quasi-random pull rate because they're like guaranteed to some extent to have your 12 hits. It's not like a true random 1 in 36. If you took 1 million base set booster boxes and you mixed all the packs together, you could open 36 packs and get like 1 hollow, or you could open 36 packs and get 30 hollows. But given that it's only quasi-random, 1 in 3, but it's guaranteed to be 12 per box, you're obviously never going to see 30 or 1 hollow because it's slated to be 12 per box. Sometimes it's 11, sometimes it's 13, small errors. But that's going to be a fun video. And then I'll do a video. I'll likely wait until I actually am on the eBay Live platform. I probably won't be on the Whatnot platform anytime this year. Maybe things could change, who knows? But I'll do a breakdown of like eBay Live versus Fanatics and why I chose eBay Live and Fanatics. Well, as of right now, Fanatics Live over eBay, and then why I would choose eBay for my secondary over Whatnot. But I remain committed, and I intend to have Fanatics Live be the primary streaming platform for 2025. It could change. We could go on to eBay Live and we could love it. I know a lot of people who sell on eBay Live. I know a lot of the issues with it. And I could be wrong here, but I think PK and Ponga are going to be begging to stay on Fanatics after we try eBay Live. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it ends up being a really smooth transition. I hope we're doubling up on nights. Ponga's live over here. PK's live over here. Streamer 3's at live over here. Like, it would be cool to be able to have a couple things live at one time. Really pumping those numbers up for the year. But that is everything. 40 minutes. That is a massive damn video. I'm recording this before I go break my base set box. I'm so excited for the weekend. I'm seeing 2 old college friends. I'm seeing PK, families meeting families. Very excited for all of it. Give me a boom emote in the comments if you made it all this way, 40 minutes in. Hopefully this helped educate, entertain. Hopefully you enjoyed to some extent. I appreciate you all watching as always. I will catch you all later.